I became an all-state basketball player, and I made one mistake. I believe in confidence. I believe confidence is arrogance under control, but I made one critical mistake. I crossed the line of confidence, and I became arrogant. I believe in confidence, but arrogance is a dangerous thing. I want you to be as confident as you can be without crossing the line into arrogance. And here's why. Arrogant people stop growing. Arrogant people stop developing because arrogant people think they have arrived. I made a pact with myself. I'm going to be as confident as I can be, but I will never cross that line into arrogance because I don't want to cripple myself from ever reaching my potential. You guys know arrogant people, don't you? In fact, raise your hand if you know someone arrogant. Now, some of you guys didn't raise your hand, and I know why. That person is sitting right next to you right now, aren't they? So I crossed the line of confidence, and I became arrogant. I was an all-state basketball player, good student. All the little girls thought I was cute. You couldn't tell me a thing. So I began to get recruited from schools all over the country. The doorbell would ring. I was sprawling on the couch. Mom, who is it today, Mom? I can't keep track. Is it Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, UCLA, Arizona State? Mom, I'm being recruited from coast to coast. Who is it today? This one day the doorbell rings and a guy named Clem Haskins walks into my house. He wore a three-piece suit, fresh haircut. He looked like success. He looked like money. Leaders, let me give you a little advice. If you want people to follow you, you better have you some confidence. You better look like success, and most importantly, look like you got some money. I don't like to follow people who don't look like they have money. Now, I know sometimes I'm wrong because you can see a person in baggy jeans and they're rich. But for the most part, I like to follow people that look like money. Just give me an extra sense of confidence that you know what you're doing. So Clem Haskins walks in the house, looked like success, looked like money, confidence, and right away I liked him. He walked in my house, and this man was good. He walked right by me, did not even acknowledge my presence. He went in the kitchen and started talking to my mom. He found out my mother is a native of Kentucky. Clem Haskins is a native of Kentucky. He stood in that kitchen, and all he talked about was Kentucky. He didn't talk about playing time. He didn't talk about graduation rates. He didn't talk about phosphate. He didn't talk about fertilizer. He didn't talk about soybeans. He didn't talk about anything technical. All he talked about was Kentucky. Had my mom wrapped around his finger in 30 minutes. He found out his daughter, Clemette Haskins, visited USC as a college athlete, and her big host on campus that weekend was a girl named Jamea Bond, my big sister. This all happened years before I even played high school basketball. He stood in that kitchen. He never talked about anything technical. And he had my mom wrapped around his finger. He walked by me again and started talking to my dad. He knew my dad was a high school principal. He knew my dad was old school. He talked about discipline. He talked about order. He said, Mr. Bond, if Walter plays for me, I'm not going to give him playing time. He must earn it. When he said that, my dad started drooling out the side of his mouth. And I saw him mesmerize my mom and dad. And I thought to myself, if you think they can help you win basketball games, give them the scholarship. And he finally looked at me and he says, Walter Bond, all state from Chicago. And I kind of perked up. He said, you're the key to my program, son. You're the key to my recruiting class. If I get you to my campus, you are the key. I forgot all about the 40-minute delay. And I thought to myself, really? I'm the key. See, great leaders always make sure the people they lead think very highly of themselves. Great leaders always make sure the people they lead think they are a little bit better than what they really are. My dad was a quiet man. When I was in college, he would call me on the phone, and he would call me Moses. You know Moses from the Bible. In other words, he was saying, son, you're a leader. He would call me early in the morning and he'd say, hey, Moses, how's it going, Moses? How you doing, Moses? How was school, Moses? In other words, how you doing, leader? How's school, leader? How's basketball, leader? Son, you're a leader and you're going to do great things. My dad would always say to me and my siblings, hey, Moses, how you doing? Great leaders always make sure the people they lead think they are a little bit better than what they really are. So he differentiated himself from the competition because after a while, all the other college coaches, they sounded just alike. They came in their university-issued garb. They all talked about playing time. They all talked about graduation rates. And after a while, they all sounded alike. Clem Haskins came into the house. He didn't wear issued university material. He wore a three-piece suit. He looked like success. He looked like money. And he never talked about anything technical. And here's a killer, how he differentiated. I can't say that word, but we'll get back to it. He was likable. Raise your hand if you're in sales. Raise your hand if you want to make more money. The one thing I learned about business when I left sports is people want to buy from people they like. If you have the ability to hire people, don't you ever hire a person who's not likable. The likability factor, from what I've learned, and let me give you a little bit of advice, I've doubled my MBA income in business in less than 3 years. Because I pay attention and I execute, and I learned right away, great salespeople are likable. They have incredible social skills. So the only reason I've been able to double my MBA income in business is that I know the power of likability.